All right. Now we're going to talk about biology. So, biology is basically, we're talking about hormones. We have hormones that increase our hunger and hormones that increase fat storage. So, this is how our body works. This is when we're under stress, our body tends to store more fat. When we are sleep deprived or anxious, we'll tend to increase the hormones that make us want to eat more and store. So, what are the hormones? They are leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, and insulin. This principle of balancing the hunger and fat storage hormones is huge. It will make all the difference. It's kind of like what's happening behind the scenes, and sometimes we're not even aware of. So, leptin is basically our full button. When you're eating and you hit the point of satisfied, you're like, oh, I've had enough to eat. And we put down the fork and we're done, we walk away. But if your leptin is actually depleted because you have lack of sleep, you will actually have, you don't have that signal to stop eating. So you want to just keep eating. Ghrelin is an appetite stimulating hormone. So when we don't get enough sleep, our ghrelin will be through the roof. If you've had more than 1 or 2 nights without at least 6 hours of sleep in a row, you will find that you're craving more simple carbohydrates, more sweets, more processed foods, because your body is telling you it's under stress. So it wants you to store body fat. So the next one, cortisol is a fat storage hormone. So usually I think of cortisol as being a stress hormone. And I always like to point out the fact that we tend to get thicker in the middle when we have a lot of stress. People that ask me about how to lose weight in the midsection or the tummy, the 4 things I would say look at: your sleep, your stress, your sugar intake, and your alcohol intake. Usually it's one of the 4 if you're really carrying a lot of weight in your midsection. So it affects all of the hunger hormones and fat storage hormones. So what can we do? Sleep, the goal is to get about 7 to 8 hours a night. This will be different for each of us, but if you, after you've been rested for a few nights in a row, go to sleep without an alarm clock, wake up after you naturally just automatically wake up, and see what time it is. For me, it will be 7 hours and 15 minutes, almost exactly on the nose. I don't even need an alarm clock. I just know 7 hours and 15 minutes after I go to sleep, I will wake up. So that's if you're going to bed and you've already been rested for a few nights in a row. 7 to 8 hours seems to be optimal for less risk of disease, for people that are thinking more clearly. They say even like 2 nights of less than 6 hours of sleep in a row, you will have an imbalance of your hormones that will cause us to want to gain more weight, but also that your thinking and mental capabilities will be depleted as well. So how do we do this? For those of you that are not good sleepers, or you're waking up all the time and in the middle of the night, you can't get back to sleep. If you're waking up more than 1 time a night to go to the bathroom, possibly, if you're waking up more than once, it could actually be that you're waking yourself up because you've stopped breathing. Possibly you have sleep apnea. I'm not saying that you do, but you might want to just consider a sleep study. Something as simple as a CPAP machine, which helps deliver more oxygen, could make all the difference. I've heard miracle stories of people who start getting quality sleep when they haven't been previously. Also, as you start to lose weight, you will find that you start to sleep more soundly as well. And if you do currently have sleep apnea, it will be improved with your weight loss on this journey as well. So one of the things that you can do, sometimes people take melatonin. You naturally produce melatonin. What you want to make sure is that you do not have lights waking you up or blue screens. So if you're going to go to bed and you're reading, off of your telephone or doing some searches before you go to bed, or you go to bed with a TV on, or even flipping the light on in the middle of the night when you go to the bathroom, all of those things stimulate the pineal gland, which wake you up. So then that stops production of melatonin. If you keep it dark, you get up to go to the bathroom, maybe you have a red night light, or you just can find your way without a light, that would be beneficial. So this would be a dark environment. Keep the lights dimmed. Keep a cool environment. You don't want it too hot in your bedroom. Sometimes people take a nice hot bath or shower before they go to sleep, because then as their body starts to cool down, it helps them to fall asleep a little bit easier. Cool, dark, and quiet. If you need a noise machine or something for a constant noise, they even have apps on your telephone just called a white noise. I sleep with the sound machine on. It just kind of is like a little fan, and it just kind of blocks out noise from neighbor dogs, etc. Some people will find that they might need a little bit of magnesium before going to bed at night. So I'll just say MG here for magnesium. I would say probably around 500 milligrams is what most people find to be beneficial. Your calcium and your magnesium in your body should be in balance. And sometimes the magnesium's on the low side. A lot of dairy eaters, a lot of people taking calcium earlier in the day may find they need a little magnesium at the end of the day. Don't take your calcium, magnesium at the same time. You want to separate them. And magnesium helps you just relax a little bit and helps you fall asleep. A bath with Epsom salts will do the same thing. You'll actually get the magnesium absorbed through your skin. So 7 to 8 is the goal. Maybe a regular bedtime would help keep consistent and not watching screens before bed. Stress, we all have stress. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot going on. Since the whole COVID thing and then shutdown thing and the government stuff, there's so much going on. It can really get us to be in a heightened state of fight or flight. And our shoulders come up to our ears and we're just anxious. And what do a lot of us do? We numb. And most of the people that are in this group are probably numbing with food or drink or sodas or whatever it is. Other people might be numbing with video games or screens. Other people might be numbing with alcohol or drugs or any number of things. So for us, we tend to, when we have anxiety, a lot of us who might be emotional eaters tend to give into a snack or a treat to help calm us and tell us that we're safe. There are a couple of things that you can do to send the message to your body that you are safe. And a few of these things might be increasing the moisture in your mouth. So I know taking a drink of water just helps to create more moisture, which gives your body the signal that you're safe and not in danger. And when we tend to have a dry mouth, it's one of the signs that danger is near. So gargling has also been found to tell your whole body, oh, we're okay. So gargling, singing, humming, whistling, anything that you're doing that kind of just creates that rhythmic and tonage will help your body realize it's okay and that you're safe. One of my favorite things is self-soothing. So when you think about this, you think about a baby, and sometimes the babies will just kind of, rubbing their arms. We can do the same thing. So it's kind of like, grandma's just giving you a little hug. It's going to be okay. It's not that bad. This just tells your entire body you're safe. And you notice the shoulders just drop down when you start to do it. Kind of like giving yourself a little hug or just the kind of like up and down. We are going to, when we talk more about emotional eating and some of the strategies there, talk about tapping, EFT tapping. But I just want to introduce one simple thing you can do that also is very good for self-soothing. And this is just alternate side tapping. You can do this on your arms. You can do this on your legs. And you try to do it at about a rate of 1 per second, kind of about what your heartbeat would be. And it just tells the entire body that you're safe and that everything's okay. When I have a lot of heightened anxiety and I just start doing this, I usually tend to tap a little bit faster. And then I remind myself to slow it down. And as I do, I slow my breathing. I take a deep breath and I realize it's okay. Meditation is also something that's very beneficial. If you haven't experimented with meditating, you can even just like close your eyes for 30 seconds and just listen to what you hear. Maybe you hear the ticking of a clock. Maybe you hear the air conditioning. And just breathe. That's a simple thing you could even do while you're going to the bathroom. Close your eyes and take some deep breaths. When we're under stress, we tend to hold our breaths. And as you remember from our last lesson, the science lesson, we need to have enough oxygen coming in and a heightened state of stress, shoulders up, shallow breathing, not doing our activity. We're not going to have enough oxygen, and that will prevent us from releasing our excess body weight. So then the last one is insulin. This is also a fat storage hormone. And stress can cause our insulin level to be high also, but sugar intake, sugar, white flour, so put sugar, flour, corn syrup, all of those things that are added to most of our foods, like 90% of the foods in the grocery store have some form of added sugar or flour or MSG or something, will increase the insulin. Blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, released by the pancreas to bring the blood sugar down, and it squirts the fat right into the cells. The extra calories are stored as body fat. So in the next video, I'm going to talk, this will be part 2 of the biology. We're going to talk a little bit more about the insulin and ways to, even with the pattern of eating, how we can decrease our blood sugar rising, which also helps to decrease the insulin rising and controls this insulin storage, fat storage hormone. So the principle is we want to balance the hunger hormones and the fat storage hormones, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, and insulin. Getting a good night's sleep will help to balance leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol, keeping our stress down on the low. It's going to help to lower our cortisol level, help our body know it's safe, keep our insulin level lower. And then in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to keep our blood sugar level more steady and stable without peaks and valleys throughout the day. And that will be the next video. So hopefully this gives you an idea of why some of these hormones might be preventing you from reaching your weight loss goals. Could be as simple as improving your sleep hygiene. So we'll see you in the next video.